It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Well, you can see in that sharp interactive board, I got a brand new guest. Never been on the end of the day with Ray before. Gary Lavin. And Gary Lavin is the partner over at CEO Juice, a business analytics company to help my friends out in the document imaging channel. Gary went to a venue last year. He was so excited about that attendance of the event that he wrote a blog. That event's getting ready to happen again. The event's called IT Nation. And I wanted to bring Gary on and talk to him why he's so excited about the IT Nation event. Gary, how are you doing? You know, I've been to that thing a couple of times so I could share some of your passion. But let's just start there. Why are you so excited about IT Nation, which is coming up here in a few months?
Well, hey, Ray. First of all, thanks for having me on. And why am I so excited? Well, I think managed IT is the future.
Well,
and I think the industry has to pivot to managed IT. And if you're going to get serious about managed IT, you've got to be at IT Nation Connect. It is the show. It will blow your mind when you compare it to some of the shows we have on the copier side.
Well, you know,
4,000 people, just mind blowing.
Well, you know, one of the messages that you were trying to get across last year when you attended was, hey, why don't we have our venues co-locate at this IT Nation event? So basically, hey, next year, instead of having your local meeting, why don't you just move it to the IT Nation event, come a day early or whatever, which I thought was a fantastic idea. But, you know, I think of it this way. Our whole industry's been trying to get into IT services for about 15 years exactly the same way. We're not getting the knockout results that we all wanted or we aspired to. And isn't it about time that we go to the IT events where IT resellers are actually trying to figure out how to reinvent IT, and we're trying to figure out how to start it? We might be starting something that needs to be reinvented. I mean, you know, what are some of the takeaways when you were there? You got 4,000, you know, attendees. These are all IT services companies. A lot of them are smaller companies. But what about the vendors that show up?
There's hundreds of vendors. I mean, and there's all sorts of unique solutions that you could look to resell. There's a ton of unique solutions that you would implement for your company. I was looking at some of the Teams integration products and came away thinking, hey, we need to do that. That's really cool. So a ton of solutions, but also it's a great place to acquire IT companies. They even put a room together where they put everybody who's interested in buying and everybody interested in selling in the same room. IT Nation is worth going to just for that one meeting, in my opinion, if you're a copier dealer.
Well, you know, when I went, I've been about 4 times. Last time I went was 2018. And they had about, at that time, I believe, without even exaggerating this number, I believe they had like 80 breakout sessions. And they do these breakout sessions where you can kind of just go to, you know, they're all throughout the day. They have main gatherings with everybody, but then they have these dedicated breakout sessions depending on whatever that IT provider wants to learn. Do they still do that? Did they do that when you went?
They absolutely do. They have some really cool speakers. In fact, Ray, you should put your name down for that, because you'd be the kind of guy they want. But yeah, and you know, I think there's like 5 or 6 breakout sessions going on at the same time. So you choose which one you like, and they start in the morning and go all day, Thursday and Friday.
So you didn't just say to the dealers, you know, you ought to co-locate your meetings. You actually are co-locating your meeting. Is that correct? So are you bringing your CEO Juice partners to this meeting this year?
So absolutely, yeah. We're going to co-locate, and I think we're going to do it going forward because It just makes so much more sense, you know. And frankly speaking, if the industry doesn't transition to managed IT, we're going to decline. So this is us taking care of us, right? We got to help our client base make that move. That's why we built our ConnectWise integration, you know. So it's just got to happen. And the industry has pivoted many times before, you know. I started selling copiers in 1983 when they were analog and standalone, and look at all that's happened in the industry since then.
Well, my biggest fear is that that's not a given, because everything we've transitioned to was a product that needed a supply, that needed a serviceman on site or woman. And today we're looking at a whole different service platform. We're looking at servicing people that we might not ever see. We're looking at cloud solutions. We're looking at so many things and more. And that's why we need to go here, because if we don't look in new places, we're not going to find new things, and we're going to miss everything everybody else is missing because they're all looking in the same place. But you know, Gary, it's an exciting event, and you know, I look forward to going. I'm going to go this year as well, and so I'll see you down there. But anything we can do to help our friends understand, you know, IT Nations, if you want to, you know, put on this post a link, we'll put a link to the event itself so people can register. But, you know, can they reach out to you? Are you open for that if they want to get more?
Oh, absolutely. Gary at CEOjuice.com, GARY at CEOjuice.com. And ConnectWise are giving our client base special pricing.
Okay. Is there a code
so
they
reach
got
out
to
to
put
me.
in? So they got to put a code in or something to get the special pricing if they
Yeah,
register?
yeah.
Okay.
I actually don't have the code yet, but I will
Okay.
have it in the
Okay.
next week or so.
Well, so real quick, when are the dates of this thing? It's like November?
It is November 9th. So it starts at 5 p.m. on a Wednesday, and some people will stay till Saturday morning.
Okay.
CEO Juice is going to be there doing some shows stuff from 2 p.m. on the Tuesday. So we're suggesting our client base get in either Monday night or Tuesday morning.
Have you got a big response from your client base? Because I know you've probably been talking to them about this already.
Yeah, it's we're starting early. We got a reasonable response, but we'll see how many people show up. And as I say, the plan is to do this every year because it just makes a lot more sense. So hopefully this year we kind of iron out the wrinkles and we're more organized for next year.
Well, you know, what I'll do is I'll study up more on this. I'll start looking at some ways that maybe we can get a message out, because I think it's important. I think dealers have a great opportunity to go meet different people. And, you know, and I said this in a video earlier this week that, you know, we can't substitute knowledge based on some kind of a business relationship. We have to assume that all of our business relationships have the same goal, to get more knowledge. And sometimes I think people misplace those two things, and we can't do that if we want to change as an industry. Gary, is there anything you want to add before we end?
No, just, there's all sorts of solutions down there. E-commerce is another thing we're seeing. Products like MPS Toolbox, people are starting to get traction in that area. Dealers just got to start thinking outside the box and just thinking more like an IT company.
Boy, doesn't that make so much sense in our industry, that saying, think out of the box. There's a lot of industries that say that, but it really means something in our industry, so it's always good. And I agree with you on the e-commerce thing, and Norm and his team's been doing a great job with that. But we still got a long way to go, but we're not going to get there if we keep doing the same thing over and over again. I don't think, Gary, because everybody watching me knows this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and we'll see all you at IT Nation.